I think what we have now is we actually have a fracturing of masonry where there's a lot of lodges that are good. There's a lot of them that have gone off the deep end and in between. And because they're so secretive, it's difficult to ascertain which one's which. I mean,
Honestly, it's easier for them to be the scapegoat for the bigger picture, and it's
right.
just easier to be able to allow you to, because we wouldn't show you so much of what you see anyway to know that the square and compass is the square and compass, to know about the 33 degrees. Like, we'd rather you, because if I hear controlling what's going on, I don't want you to know that I'm controlling what's going on. So I'll tell you, hey, it's that guy. So those guys are the pawns, and we're basically protecting the king and queen if we're playing chess. If you look at it from that perspective. So and I say this because my grandmother was an Eastern Star. My great grandmother raised me, and she was an Eastern Star. I was raised in the lodge. But I say that not that I practice, but I'm just saying that I understand to the extent to which, like, there are some people who take their power and misuse it, but that's in anywhere. You can go anywhere and that be the same situation. But it's easier for you to say, we don't like them because this. But
Exactly.
we're not telling you, hey, we're kind of feeding them over here, and you don't know about us. You kind of reverence us. Like, you'll hear people speak more highly of the Illuminati than they will the Freemasons. And not saying that you shouldn't hear people say negative stuff about Illuminati. But now it's come to the point to where people are like, oh, I want to join the Illuminati, not even knowing what the Illuminati actually is. But I just wanted to throw that in.
Like with that, okay. That goes back to what I was talking about. There has been conspiracy theories for hundreds of years. The Illuminati is a perfect example of it, okay? George Washington even made a speech about the Illuminati. I mean, it is that crazy. George Washington, the first president of the United States, freaking actually was a member of the Masons, Freemasons, okay?
George Washington was not the first president of the United States, but okay, go ahead.
Well, let's just go off the technicalities. I know that there was a guy that held the office until it was given, but I'm just saying the first president. Okay, and that right there in itself is another good thing to talk about. But I'm just saying he was a Freemason, and he was so worried about the Illuminati that he even made a speech about it. Because this horrible, freaking devious, evil freaking organization was planning on taking over the freaking Freemasons Guild, and to this day nobody knows for sure if the Illuminati actually infiltrated the Freemasons. There's no proof of it. The guy who started it, I don't even know if they freaking know really what happened to him. I know they know his real name and everything, but even his story is so screwed up, people don't have the facts on it. It was a German guy, I believe.
King Solomon?
Yeah, that goes to the Freemasons. Their ritual with becoming a member of Freemasons had to do with the Solomon's Temple and what's his name? I even have videos on it. Habakkuk or Habakkuk or some shit.
Yeah, he's got a book of the Bible named after him. I didn't realize he was in the middle of that, but
yeah,
I do some study, but I'm so spread so thin with all the knowledge I accumulate. I got a lot of gaps.
Yeah. Well, I've actually found out like there's a lot of people back in the past that tried to connect a lot of middle age conspiracy and stuff like that with the ancient times, and like with Freemasonry, they always wanted to try to connect it somehow with the Egyptians, and they also wanted to connect it with the Israelites and the Jews and stuff like that. In the New Kingdom, Egypt, they had statues where the statues would step out with their hand out and 1 foot forward, and that's why the Masons took that on, because that was an Egyptian symbol for secrecy and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool, but there's no connection, you know what I mean? There's no like solid link going straight from here all the way back to ancient Egypt. Like, that's just not real. So, but there's cool stories. I mean, like they have stuff. Have you guys ever heard about the Emerald Tablets?
Not those in particular, no.
The Emerald Tablets were created by Thoth, and Thoth put all of his wisdom on these tablets, and apparently they're hidden somewhere. Well, there's a tablets or writings about the tablets that came out in the Middle Ages that a lot of people for a long time thought was the real Emerald tablets, but they found out later that it was basically a fraud, you know. But I mean, there was a whole bunch of people, man, that believed in that stuff. Gnostics were big on it, and it just kind of, you know, got blended into society, you know. And it's pretty cool stuff. Any way you look at it, if you just sit down and read it, I mean, it would just blow your imagination away. You can't say that it's bad stuff because it's cool to read. I mean,
Now, since we're talking about conspiracies, one of the current ones going around is Egypt actually did locate the Hall of Records, and they broke in over a decade ago. And they're just keeping it hush-hush and not letting us know about it. So if those tablets do exist, there's a pretty good chance they've been found in the last decade or two.
yeah. Now that's kind of tied to it. Edward Casey, Edgar Casey, he was the big kahuna behind all that. I mean, he would have his visions, and he would discuss things like Atlantis, the hidden the hidden records under the Sphinx. We had a good conversation yesterday about that stuff, and it really I think we had a pretty good time on that one because Robot was with me, and we all kind of went a little in different directions and stuff, and I'm like, look, man, this is the first time we've done this topic. I mean, you're actually comfortable. You're saying what's on your mind. I'm comfortable. We were all feeling comfortable. I was like, you did a good job, you know. Now later on, if we want to get structured, that's cool, but like that was just the first video we made on that topic. So we were talking about that though, and we had a pretty good conversation about it. So I have no problem.
You should consider structuring this topic too, and then getting people who are, because you said that Sano, you mentioned her in the chat. I guess maybe she did not see it, but you should get structured on this topic. People who are really big with conspiracies, and maybe perhaps every single week a different conspiracy that you focus on, and have as much information as possible, and asking for people to have as much information as possible in regards, like you can give us the heads up and say, hey, we're going to be talking about this conspiracy. You bring your information first, and then let us chime in if we found anything, or if anyone has anything that they already or anything like that. And that might help as well, especially just with everything that you talk about. It'll be easier for people to kind of focus, because I love the conversations. The free fall is great, but the thing about it is, like you were saying, we kind of get a little bit all over the place. And then like even with like how it's like, okay, wait, can I ask you a question? Because like when you guys get confusing, or I want to make sure I stay with you guys, that's why I'll say, hey, can I ask a question? Because you'll get so far ahead, and I'm just sitting here in the back like, well, I'm just gonna wait, because I'm unsure. So even being able to, you know what I mean, have each person
don't sit
talk.
in the background waiting. Okay, if you got a question, you asked it. I mean, because I'd be more than happy to answer anything as long.
Oh, you do great. You're very attentive to me. You're very attentive. You've been like that the first show, the Egypt show, but everything I feel like you could touch on it. Like you do really good. You can tuck on everything
the
if you.
Sumerians better. Okay, don't call me the Egyptian show. I like the Sumerians better now. I love the Sumerians.
Okay. I apologize.
I could sit for days and just watch freaking videos on the Sumerian civilization. That's how much I love them. I really need to do more research into Egypt. Don't get me wrong, but if that's where the good stuff is with the Sumerians, and then the second best ones, believe it or not, is with the Hittites and the Phoenicians. No,
Okay, yeah, because the show kind of just crossed. Yeah, we just kind of went off. See, that's what I mean.
but
Some Egyptians, but it's really the show. But it's because we talked about so many topics. So it's just like a matter of one of those things to where like you should really consider like having your topics laid out, or even if you'd like to say in the chat, like, "Hey guys, what do you think we should talk about? This is
well,
what
I
I'm headed
did.
towards."
I did. Remember, the original topic was supposed to be conspiracy versus conspiracy theory. Now, that's basically what it comes down to. And I understand the concept of a conspirator. All right, people have been accused of being conspirators for years on top of years. But I don't think that distinguishing between a conspiracy and a conspiracy theory, the way they're trying to do it, is constructive. Because first of all, every conspirator is usually involved in politics in some way or another. Okay, there's no way to avoid it. I mean, JFK didn't get assassinated because freaking whoever did it just didn't like him. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know that's one of the first ones they bring up in that whole topic is about JFK.
Yeah, I was watching.
Because that's where
The History Channel has a good documentary about the men that run America. I apologize. No, because you said about JFK, and like, yeah, you're right.
But
You're right.
it seems like somebody wants to go in there and they want to divide the term conspirator or conspiracy and conspiracy theory.
Conspirator.
You know, it's okay for you to, talk about conspiracies, but just don't be talking about conspiracy theories, because those are all just a bunch of crazy people who are uneducated and don't like science. You know what I mean?
Conspiracy theorists, yeah. But the funny thing about it is they're not even conspiracy because it's true. It's like it's true.
The truth of the matter is there's a lot of educated
But I
men.
cooperated to do some stuff.
There's a lot of educated men who believe in freaking conspiracies. You know.
I know an engineer that's a flat earther, so.
Oh yeah, that's that's a rough one to. That's a rough one to handle. I
got to say this about flat earthers. No, I don't believe in flat earth theories or what have you. But if you listen to what they rant about, occasionally they stumble across something we do need to look at a little bit closer. They like to talk about how the military enforces no-go zones in Antarctica. And really, you're not supposed to enforce anything in Antarctica. It's not claimed by anyone. There's a lot of stuff that the flat earthers talk about. It's worth taking a closer look at, except for, their main reason for believing it.
Yeah. No. There are some things they do talk about, but it's far and few in between. Okay, like if you go on their site and you look at a lot of the stuff that they have on there, I mean, the most of the stuff that they put on there is like old photos of like 1800s or old. Just as film was being produced and stuff, and they start doing and that's basically all I've ever really seen too much of them. And then they keep talking about the Michigan Lake, Great Michigan or the Great Lakes, and how if they're on Lake Michigan looking over from Michigan, why is it they can't see St. Louis or Chicago? I mean, you know what I mean? And then they have an excuse for it, you know what I mean? Because it's an illusion that's set up from the horizons. It's from your perspective. It's how you look at it. Like if we're driving down the road and I look down at the speedometer and you're sitting in the passenger seat next to me, and we both look at that speedometer, you're not going to see the same thing I do. You see what I mean? That's the kind of stuff they really get into. And I mean, which, don't get me wrong, on a scientific level that is important,